And I'm going to say a hot take here for a second. I'm super thrilled we got the back-to-back top 25 victories. That's fantastic. But my gosh, does this not just piss me off even more with the way this season's gone? To have back-to-back top 25 wins and it still the season's a wash, it's a waste. Yes, we can get the bowl eligibility here in a couple weeks if we win out, but now we have to win out to do so. The fact that we have these two big victories in the last 2 weeks, but we can point back to the beginning of the season and see 4 games that we dropped pisses me off. I don't know where you guys feel on that. Want to get your thoughts on it, but man,
pissed.
I still feel like this season's a waste.
It was good, y'all. It's your boy JD6 here with my man. Shout out to KC Sports Authority. Make sure y'all go check that podcast out, man.
You heard the man. Well, the Kansas football Jayhawks are coming off not one, but back-to-back top 25 victories, surpassing the always tough BYU Cougars 17-13 over this weekend up in BYU territory, by the way. Definitely want to get into that and talk about the 2-game win streak there. Moving to 4-6 on the year, playoffs are out the window, college football playoff wise, but the Big 12 standings are still possible to move our way up, and of course, bowl season is still a possibility. This could still be a chance where if KU wins out down the stretch, they can go to their 3rd straight bowl game, first time in program history for that. So we want to talk a little bit about that, and of course, preview the upcoming monster game we have against Colorado this weekend in Arrowhead, a game that I think everyone's been anticipating. And if you ask me, I think one of the most highly anticipated matchups in recent KU football history. You got 2 stud quarterbacks going up against each other. Mr. Primetime, Deion Sanders, always a headline himself. So we're going to get into that. But welcome into the podcast, KC Sports Authority. Keegan Russell, JB Merker, Austin Eckert here with you guys tonight. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe button below. You can find us over here on YouTube where you can like and subscribe to the show and see our lovely faces. You can also listen to us on the go on Spotify. If you are listening to us on Spotify, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. We greatly appreciate that. That helps us out and helps other Jayhawk fans, Chiefs fans, and Royals fans find the content. And, of course, if you're looking for some content over on social media, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at KCSA Pod. Well, fellas, back-to-back weeks. 2 top 25 upsets, as I'm going to call them. KU was the underdog in both of these matchups. We didn't really – I know we kind of talked about the Iowa State game a week and a half ago, but, really came out strong for that. And then we go on the road to BYU, which I was not looking forward to. I thought this was going to be an incredibly tough game, and it was a tough game. We squeak out a 17-13 victory in one of the toughest environments in college football and possibly – at least cut out half of BYU's college football playoff chances. Now, they still have to win the Big 12, and if they do, they'll still get in. But if they're an at-large team and they do lose the Big 12 championship, you could say that KU has now effectively back-to-back weeks spoiled. Season spoilers, as some are starting to call the Jayhawks. Season spoilers, that is, spoiling both Big 12 teams last 2 weeks. Iowa State's effectively out of the Big 12 championship race unless KU beats Colorado this weekend, and there's still some hope for them. And then, of course, BYU still the front runners for the Big 12 as well. So this is fun. This is going to be 3rd week in a row that we get to face the top of the Big 12 conference and potentially play season spoiler to Colorado, as we'll get into. But let's just go back to the BYU game itself. Thoughts? I know, JB, you and I were at a retreat this week, and so we were catching bits and pieces and didn't quite sit there for all of it. But we did go down the stretch there, the 4th quarter, and watch us close it out. But, yeah, guys, what thoughts do we have on the 17-13 victory this last weekend?
I feel like it was a victory that was just, God, we needed that so badly. And I feel like, for me, I don't know what came over me. I really don't. But, leading up to this game, I had no fear of BYU. I don't know why. I think I had to take a double take at their record and be like, wow, they're actually 9-0. Whoa, they're actually ranked 6th in the country. And we just took them to the woodshed, in my opinion. Look, and some people might say, okay, that's a big expression for, a 17-13 win. But for me, for KU in the position that we were in and going on the road, man, what a heck of a win. I was so proud of our guys. Like I said, I don't know why, but I didn't didn't feel worried about that game going in. So glad that we were able to pull out the win, but I think it's just that our guys, they won against BYU last year. Certainly teams change year over year, but I think there was a certain amount of confidence in the squad, especially after beating Iowa State. You never know what kind of power one solid win has over a team and the morale and their energy going into the next game. And now that they've beaten Iowa State, they've beaten BYU back to back ranked team wins. Maybe, just maybe, they can go 3 for 3 and beat Colorado. We'll see.
Yeah, I was completely shocked by the end result. I won't lie. And like JB said, I really wasn't worried about this game either. I had a feeling that KU would have a chance, but I mean, I was just worried because this game was in Provo, and just seeing clips of like the fans and the student section getting after it, I was like, man, this is like the toughest environment that KU's going to have to go up against this season. I'd say K-State's right behind BYU in terms of like toughest environments that they've had to play in. But I mean, I can't believe we won that game because of our defense. I mean, when is the last time that KU has won a football game because of their defense? I mean, it's unreal, and man, it was just unbelievable. And, one thing that really stood out to me before the game started, last time we played the number 6 team in the country, we beat them, and I was like,
I do remember that.
I'm just saying, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I know when we did our last episode, I told you guys I was being a little pessimistic, and, I'm kind of in that same spot because I do feel like Colorado is a much better team than BYU, and of course we'll get into that. But I was just overly shocked, but at the same time I was extremely happy, and I couldn't believe we won. To be honest with you guys, I'm still trying to process the win because I really don't know how that happened. I mean, for example, the punt that JD had, the pooch punt that bounced off of the BYU's.
Yeah, that was wild.
I mean, I'm like,
when was the last time something like that went KU's way?
And I believe there was I think Brian Haney and Lance Leipold were talking about this at Hawk Talk because I listened to their episode today. They brought up some website that had the ranking of the luckiest teams in all of college football, and how Kansas was 134th or something like that, and BYU was number 1. So it's what? That just makes no sense. It doesn't make sense to me. But finally, they get a break, and they got a big one against BYU. So, everybody was obviously happy about that, including myself. Whenever I was out and about watching the game at a local, I'd say, okay. I was at the wheel. All right, I'll admit it. I was at the wheel watching the game. No. I just had maybe 1 or 2 drinks. That's all I need. But I had a great time, and it was a good night.
Yeah, and the funny thing about this game to me, looking at the stats, if you didn't watch the game, if you look at the box score, BYU was the better team in the box score for majority of this game. They ran the ball way more effectively. Their defensive line really shut us down. We were averaging 2.2 yards a carry. And even Devin Neal, the strong season he's had, he had to really fight and claw for his 3.7 yards. Obviously had the 2 touchdowns. Jalon didn't really throw for a ton of yards, didn't get a TD, had the interceptions. It wasn't a very clean game, but it was a game where both teams struggled to do the things they like offensively and had just enough plays. But I mean, BYU is a very stout defense, and I thought they put KU in a lot of tough positions. But finally, we saw 2 things really go KU's way. We saw the break there with the pooch punt. Shout out Coach Grimes, I guess, on putting that together / special teams, trying to figure that one out. Wow. Maybe that should happen often. You get a lucky bounce there off the defender. I think, in hindsight, that could have been called the other way. Just, that's a hard one to get right there, but it puts you right there on the goal line. And then you get the Melo Dotson interception there. And I think for me, watching the fourth quarter, I was going, man, there's just too much time there. Ratzlaff is going to move down the field. They're going to score. They're going to figure out how to do it. And KU's defense pulls it out, gets us the victory, and we're on the back half of the season now, looking at both sides of the ball improving, which feels really good. Feels great to have two wins back to back over ranked opponents. and not looking at the game and going, oh my gosh, it was that third down play call that we really screwed up on. Grimes is still calling bad plays, or man, Devin's not getting the ball when we need to, or man, come on, Brian Borland, your defense needs one stop. And finally, you get a game like this where it's a grinded out game. Now, I do think BYU gifted us a couple of things. That Mello pick was a bad throw, very underthrown. Mello went up and grabbed it. The pooch punt, just not paying attention. BYU struggled on third down and fourth downs. So did KU. But all in all, he grinded out a victory in one of the toughest road environments. BYU at night, I mean, we saw K-State get thwarted earlier on in the season, like 38-9 or something in that environment. And you would argue, K-State could be a better team than Kansas, considering they beat us head-to-head. Now, I don't know how that looks right now because K-State's lost a couple in the last several weeks, but that's a tough environment up there in BYU at night. It was one of the coldest games of the season for KU. Temperatures pretty chilly. So not an easy place to go in and get the victory. And the fact that KU held them to 13 points, I think, is incredible. But yeah, it's like you said, JB, BYU's been a lucky team this year. They should have lost to Utah last week. They got lucky on that flag there to get them the first down and move down the field to win the game. They've had a few games throughout the season that one or two plays bounce the other way, and they're sitting here, with 3 or 4 losses, not at the top of the Big 12. I guess my takeaway, I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. And I'm going to say a hot take here for a second. I'm super thrilled we got the back-to-back top 25 victories. That's fantastic. But my gosh, does this not just piss me off even more with the way this season's gone? To have back-to-back top 25 wins, and it still the season's a wash, it's a waste. Yes, we can get the bowl eligibility here in a couple weeks if we win out, but now we have to win out to do so. The fact that we have these 2 big victories in the last 2 weeks, but we can point back to the beginning of the season and see 4 games that we dropped pisses me off. I don't know where you guys feel on that. Want to get your thoughts on it, but man,
pissed.
I still feel like this season's a waste.
I just want to know how the heck we lost to
waste.
Kansas State. I mean, just looking at how they've done the past couple of weeks, it's like, how the heck did we
better
lose
team than K-State? I still think better team than Illinois.
Yeah.
Better team than UNLV. So there's 3 wins right there.
Definitely.
So what? That takes you'd be at 3 losses instead of 6.
Yep.
And you're talking about still being at the top of the Big 12 for Big 12 championship hopes.
So really quick, hold on. So I saw something on Twitter. Every time I say this, whenever we are recording, it always starts with, I saw something on Twitter, don't know who said it, but not sure if I'll find it again. But some dude who had put out his prediction for the college football playoff bracket, and they put KU in there as the 11th seed. And I was like,
in a recent
wait a
one?
minute, like, do we actually still have a shot? Yeah, it was like right after it was like posted. I remember looking at it and it was like posted 1 hour ago, but it was after we had beaten BYU. And so it was like, wait, what? So I'm like,
mathematically speaking, it is not possible to
that's
win
fake.
the Big 12
That is pure satire. And I know exactly who posted that. I'm not going to say the actual name of like the
okay.
Because it's if you say it out loud, it sounds like something else. It's one of those deals.
Okay.
No, that was pure satire. That was not real.
Shoot,
but I did find that funny though.
Hope. That gave me
hope, if Kate won, I mean, they're sitting 3-4 in conference play. If they were at 3 wins, it'd be possible. If they went out, Colorado loses out and BYU loses out, because then they'd have the tiebreaker over both. But yeah, it's not possible.
I don't even think we're eligible to make the
hope.
college football playoff anymore, or even make the Big 12 championship game. We're out of that. And we should have been out of that a long time ago, but somehow we were still in it until like last week or the week.
Because the Big 12 has been cannibalizing itself the last few weeks.
That's what I've been saying.
We saw
K-State
drop 3 in the league. Iowa State.
Well, I was like, maybe that's why.
Arizona State 2 losses. There's a lot of middle ground here where KU could still finish. They were projected preseason 4th in the Big 12, and if they win out, they could still finish as 4th theoretically, which is, I think, just crazy considering the way the season's gone. But yeah, that's why this just pisses me off even more, because you look at the schedule. To me, the only game that I think we were deserved of losing was probably TCU. So you take the TCU game and you completely flip it around. Instead of sitting here at 4-6, we're sitting at 9-1. heading into Colorado, who is 8-2, basically with the Big 12 championship aspirations on the line, and we're a top 15 team at the least. So yeah, that's my hot take on this. I love that we got it done, but man, it just pisses me off that we squandered away the first 6 weeks of the season because
I'll argue that we lost to the refs against TCU. We didn't lose to TCU, we lost to the refs. I'm still salty about that game. I really am. Like, how do you miss 20 million missed blocks in the back on a punt return? And how do you freaking rule an incomplete pass when Josh Hoover had the ball in his hands and clearly did not have any forward motion before the ball went out of his hands? And how do you rule a complete pass, an incomplete pass when when Lawrence Arnold literally caught the freaking ball? Like, I am never going to get over that.
Yeah, that one. I don't know how that was reversed. Yeah, 10-0 should be 10-0. You could argue we'd be 10-0.
Maybe there's definitely an argument for 10-0.
There's none of those games. None of those games. Like I can't remember. And I think Derek Johnson did it on Locked On Jayhawks, and I think it's been on the broadcast. KU has had a 90% or higher win likability. Geez, likelihood. I can't even say the word. Projectability, I guess. Probability. There you go. Win probability. Wow, that was difficult to figure out. They've had a 90% win probability in every single game of the season. And they've had like 4 games where they had like a less than 0.00001% chance of losing, and they still lost. So, yeah, I think this team could be 10-0 right now. We're talking about Jalon being top 10 in Heisman, considering the way the season's gone the second half, and KU's, a top 10 team in college football playing for a college football playoff appearance. And that's why, to me, it pisses me off that we went ahead and decided the last half of the season we're going to play some real football and look like one of the best teams in the Big 12. Because we wasted the first half of the season, so why even do it now?
My problem is, I hear what you're saying, and I don't know. I don't want to sound like – I feel like we're always super optimistic, and we're always super, like, we're going to win the Natty, like, every time. We're a KU football and KU basketball podcast.
But yeah, you can thank basketball for that. Of course, every year's Natty or bust.
Well, yeah, but of course we're going to sound like homers all the freaking time. But, like, man, I don't know. I don't know about 10-0, but I can see – 8-9 for sure, 8-9 wins right now. Because we've gotten a little bit screwed and pretty unlucky.
We said we could probably count up on both hands less than 10 plays that if we do something different, we're sitting here 9-1 or 10-0. If Jeff Grimes 100%. Calls 3 different plays that Jeff Grimes calls differently, we're sitting here completely different season. We're talking about Big 12 championship, college football playoff, and one of the better bowl games on the schedule. Now we're talking about we have to win out to be just bowl eligible. Now, the fact that we do have some top 25 wins, I think, will push us over the edge for a bowl game. I don't see this team not getting a bowl game if they get to 6 wins. But now we're also here at the end of the season going, well, if we drop to Colorado, bowl season's over.
If we drop to Colorado, then it's a wash for me. Now, look, we had –
So why did we even go out and win these last 2 games is my point. Why even
I don't know.
Winning?
Well, pride.
Don't give me hope.
I would say pride. It's always felt like a pride thing. We know we're way better than this, but also, I mean, think about the guys that are going to leave after this year. I mean, this year is going to be the last year for a lot of our major talent, and it's kind of like, man, I don't want to go out like this. But also, man, if we keep losing, like Lance is, Lance is not going to be happy. Look, this might be a stretch. This might be a stretch. If I'm a player, I would feel legitimately bad for Lance and for the small portion of KU fans that would be calling for his head, which, by the way, if you're one of those people, you are an idiot, because over the last 15 years, we have been through this coaching carousel of just pitiful coaching. The worst coaching that we've ever seen in college sports, let alone, I mean, honestly, ever. And the fact that we have a guy like Lance Leipold, as a player, I would want to make him proud. As a player, I would want to hope we can win some games, get some strong points to sell on recruits, and then just start over. And next year, build and keep. Well, I say start over, but what I really mean is start at 0-0 next year and build to a bowl eligible, consistent program every single year because we are worth that. I mean, we're a good team at our bones. So for me, it's about pride, and I do think there's an element of uh, comfortability now with Arrowhead in particular. I think obviously we've, not being at home, not having a home space this season has really hindered us. And now we're about to have our final game at Arrowhead this weekend against Colorado. And man, if there's ever a reason to win the game, it's win your final home game. Win it for the seniors who don't get to play on
Do it
senior
for Devin
day.
Neal.
Yeah, do it for Devin. I mean, we don't have a home place right now. We don't have a home stadium, but man, just do it for those guys. That's my mentality. I feel like we have a
And
shot.
that's why I'm so excited about this game this weekend, because we get to do a lot of things. We get to send. Well, I wish it was the final game of the year. That kind of sucks that it's not, because I would love Devin Neal's final
Sure.
game to be a home game. I know there's still potential bowl eligibility, but one last chance for local fans to see Devin Neal in a Kansas uniform playing on our home turf. You've got a big time matchup against Colorado. Dion's going to be in the building. There's going to be tons of celebrities in Kansas City this weekend for this matchup. It sucks that the Chiefs are on the road this weekend, because I bet a ton of the Chiefs guys would be at this game. There's going to be a bunch of NFL scouts there to see Shedeur, to see Dev, to see Kobe Mello, to see Bryce Foster, who's climbing up leaderboards, Travis Hunter, of course. You've got probably the best college football player arguably the best college football player we've seen since Tim Tebow, and Travis Hunter, two-way guy that should be unanimous Heisman, but because he doesn't get a lot of attention on defense now, he might not get there. But there's a lot of hype this weekend. So yeah, why not do what we've done the last few weeks and make top 25 teams not safe anymore? Colorado, number 16 in the country. I think they are a really good football team. I don't think we took them very seriously the first 6 weeks of the season. I think we looked at that going, at some point the wheels are going to fall off like they did last year.
Yeah.
But why not be season spoilers this weekend? Why can't we go in there and just completely derail Colorado's season, keep them on the outside looking in for the Big 12 championship and the college football playoff, piss Dion off, make Shedeur look bad in Kansas City in front of scouts? I'd love to see that. So why not? Like, you have, in all honesty, again, we said they're still bowl eligible, but in reality, we got nothing to lose this weekend. You're playing with all the house money. Push all your chips to the middle. Go out and do it, because if you lose, you lose. The season's, again, we could become bowl eligible, but in all reality, if you separate this season out from the history of K football, it'd be great to go to a bowl game 3 straight years. But if you just look at what was supposed to happen this season, coming in on paper, this season's a major failure. So why not just go out there and spoil Colorado's season and have some fun with it? I think for me, though, is if you're going to do that, then you also got to follow it up with beating BYU or beating Baylor to end the season and maintain bowl eligibility. But why not shut down Colorado? So let's talk about this game. KU versus Colorado, Saturday afternoon in Arrowhead. Colorado, good offensive team for the most part. Horrendous offensive line, not so great defense, but they're an exciting, electric team. Like I said, Travis Hunter on the outside is probably one of the most special players we've seen in a long time. Going up against the best or second best secondary in the Big 12. I'm really looking forward to that matchup. I think Travis is going to burn us a few times for sure, and Shedeur's got a cannon that he can unload. But I'm really curious to see, if KU even attempts to slow down Hunter and keeps him under 75 yards, I don't see how KU loses this football game. If Shedeur is not getting the ball to Travis Hunter 7+ catches for 90+ yards, KU's winning this football game. We've got the pieces defensively on the defensive line to attack this offensive line. We've got a pretty solid linebacking core now that Cornell Wheeler's healthy, JB Brown's healthy, Gilliam's healthy. We've got enough guys there to help in the screen game. Marvin Grant's been a tremendous safety. Some of the guys on the back end there, Mason's been I think, is it Mason? The freshman. I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head. Taylor Mason, I think, safety. Tyler Mason. So I'm forgetting his name. I apologize, but he's looked really good the last couple of weeks. So I think KU has a really good shot, and I think that's why they open up as only a 2.5-point dog at home, considering that Vegas has gotten it wrong in the last 2 weeks. This game's a little bit closer, but I'm looking forward to it. I think this is going to be an exciting game.
Dude, Austin, do we win? What do you think? Gun to your head right now. Do we win?
Yes.
I'm for sure going to bet KU to win. I'm pissed I didn't do it last weekend.
You said gun to the head, so I had to say something.
Heck
Listen,
yeah,
I think there's a way that KU can win this game 100%. Now, I mean, of course, there's a reason why Colorado's number 16 right now. And, Keegan kind of mentioned it. Travis Hunter, their elite passing attack. One thing that they don't do well on offense is run the ball. Now, they have been running the ball well as of late. I will say that. But just over the course of the season, they haven't had a consistent running game. So I feel like if you can get after Shedeur and you can slow down the run game and get outside, because they're going to be throwing screen passes for, left and right. They're going to be doing that all game long. So, if you can slow down their ability to stretch the field on defense, I think, it should disrupt, that offense pretty well. And as long as, KU continues to do what they've been doing offensively. And I know last week it wasn't their best week, but I mean, feed the ball to Devin Neal, get Daniel Highshaw involved, of course, and get Jalon some of those quick throws out early, and then kind of let him do his thing as the game goes on. Let him throw a deep ball to Luke Grimm or Quentin Skinner as long as he can catch it. Lawrence Arnold, I don't know if he's going to play this week because I know he went down with an injury, but, we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully he can play because this is going to be senior night. And, knowing
I haven't seen an injury report yet that says key guys are going to miss this game.
Yeah, I think
to my knowledge.
Coach Leipold said he's highly questionable, I think, on Monday. So we'll just see what happens. But he went down pretty hard, and I was kind of, just thinking about LJ for most of the game. But we did pretty well in catching the ball in a type of environment, and weather-wise, it wasn't so kind, and it was supposed to snow too. And I don't know if it ended up snowing or not, but I mean it's hard to catch passes out there in that type of weather. So
it's cold, it was cold but wet out there too.
Yeah.
So not a great comp, which is why I'm still surprised that they did what they could. But yeah, this weekend looks like it's going to be a beautiful 60 degrees. So solid day for football. To me, when I look at this game, there's two things that stand out to me that Colorado is inefficient at that gives KU a fighting chance. Like you said, rushing the ball. They average less than 3 yards a carry. KU's rush defense has been decent this year. Not so great against rushing quarterbacks, but as far as stopping the run, not too bad. So I like the edge there with KU's line and linebackers to slow. So if it's a first down rush play and you force them into 2nd and 8, I think that's great. The other thing that Colorado is not so efficient at is third down. They are about 40% successful on third down, 47% successful on 4th down. So it's pretty easy to say keep these guys in 3rd and long scenarios to where they can't even attempt to run the football. You got a good shot to win. So for me, I'm looking at the trenches in this game. Whoever controls the trenches in this game is going to win. Shedeur can go for 400 yards and 6 touchdowns, and Colorado can lose. Jalon Daniels can go 12 of 25, 160 yards, 2 picks, and KU can still win with the way that the rest of the team plays. So I'm looking at the trenches here. KU's got one of the best offensive lines in the country, in my opinion, one of the best run blocking teams, the best center in college football, for sure, the highest graded center, one of the highest graded tackles, one of the highest graded guards. So I think we need to utilize our line and push the ball. I think the way you play them is similar to how you want to play the Chiefs at times. You want to see Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. The longer Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders are on that sideline, the better the chances are. What do? Control the game with the ground game. Call a correct run blocking game. And if Jeff Grimes can put together a good game plan this week in the early script and some good adjustments at halftime, I think KU's in a great position here to pull this out. I think there's going to be some electrifying plays. Again, I would not be shocked if Travis Hunter burns somebody over the top for 70 yards, Tyreek Hill style. This is Arrowhead, and we could see Tyreek Hill on the field in a version of Travis Hunter. I think defensively, though, I think KU is going to figure out that they don't want to go anything his direction. So I look for a lot of the underneath stuff to be available. The question I would have for you guys, though, is as you look at key matchups in this game, outside the run game, do you think Jalon needs to go toe for toe with Shedeur to give KU a fighting chance? What does that quarterback matchup look like?
Yeah. I mean, to answer your question very short and simple, yes.
And can he outplay Shedeur?
I don't know, man. I don't want to sound like a homer here, but I'm gonna say he will, but I don't think he does every single week. I mean, certainly he has not outplayed Shedeur Sanders over the course of the season. So, I mean, it's just, if I'm being a realist, the chances of him playing to his highest level and not turning over the ball are a little slim. My God, if he can just not throw an interception, I'm going to feel pretty good about our chances. I'm going to be honest. I'll feel really good about our chances. If he plays a clean game, sign me up. Sign me up for the upset. I'll take it.
I don't, I have a feeling that he might have to outplay Shedeur to give Kansas an opportunity to win, but I don't know if he really needs to worry about that. I mean, like, it's going to come down to the run game too. If they can establish a consistent running game, I think, it'll make things easier for Jalon, and he won't have to throw for 400 plus yards to give Kansas the win. I don't know. With all due respect, Shedeur is one of the best players in all of college football, and he's proven a lot of people wrong this year, and he's going to be, one of the first players taken in the NFL draft next year. So I don't know if he'll outplay Shedeur, but at the same time, I don't know if he needs to and to give Kansas, an opportunity to win this game.
To give you some statistics, I don't think Jalon can outscore him in the box score. Shedeur's got almost 1,400 more yards. He's got 27 TDs, 7 interceptions to Jalon's 13 and 10.
That's ridiculous.
He's got a 73% completion percentage to Jalon's 56. But here's the wild one. Jalon's only been sacked 9 times and has lost 72 yards. Shedeur's been sacked 31 times for a loss of 239 yards. So on the year, he's got 77 carries if you count sacks and kneel downs, and he's only got negative 11 rushing yards on the season. So Shedeur's not going to beat you with his legs, but he can. He's a capable athlete, but obviously that's very heavily skewed with the sacks. But Shedeur's passer rating is 163. But he's incredibly efficient and incredibly effective throwing the ball if the offensive line can hold up. Now, like I said, it definitely helps when you have a stud wide receiver like Travis Hunter that can literally go high point it anywhere in the field. I don't know if Colorado's really gone up against tough secondaries this year. I haven't dove into their schedule, but I think this is a game that we can frustrate that. And if you get, I personally have watched, you get Shedeur frustrated, Colorado struggles. So I like KU to do a lot of the intangibles in this game. I don't see Jalon like going toe for toe with them. But if Jalon doesn't turn the ball over, like you said, makes the smart reads and the zone read options and breaks off a couple of chunk rushes here and there, I think at the end of the game you can go, all right, Jalon did what he needed to get a team win, whereas Shedeur and Colorado do what they need to do to boost the stats as much as possible. Like, I don't think Colorado plays a very team-heavy game. So if you can isolate Travis Hunter somehow and frustrate Shedeur, I think you got a really, really good shot at pulling off this upset. But that's most of the thoughts I have on this game. Any other takes you guys have? Do we want to talk a little Dion at all, and what might happen with the win or loss for his future?
For me, I personally,
here's another hot take. Another quick hot take. Sorry. The Cowboys suck, right? Dallas Cowboys suck.
Uh-oh.
They get a top 5 pick. McCarthy's let go. Dion's hired. They draft Shedeur. They trade Dak Prescott. There's your Dallas Cowboys next year. And this was all Jerry Jones' plan from the beginning of this year.
Why did I feel like that was coming?
I did see that on ESPN today. Michael Irvin was talking about it, but I also feel like I could see that happening.
Oh, man.
That's one of those conspiracies that could be legit.
I just don't know if Dion wants to leave Colorado for Dallas because, I remember him being on ESPN the other day saying, hey, I'm loving it out here. He's like, hey, I don't want to leave, but.
Yeah, but there's no way he stays after.
Everyone says that.
Like Shiloh's
I mean,
okay, but
shoot, I would
Shiloh's
want
not
to go
Shedeur.
coach in Colorado too. I've never been to Boulder, but it just looks so beautiful. Like, how would you not, like want to not leave that place? I don't know.
But
I don't know.
is
I
he
mean,
really
money
on?
talks, right?
Money talks.
Money does talk. Is he really
Yeah.
under the microscope, like being a college football coach, or am I just tripping over here? Because I'm like, to me, I mean, if he makes that move, it's a bold statement, and I think anyone really would be under the microscope when you take that kind of a job. And man, could he actually handle it? Probably. I don't know. I mean, it's
I
tough
mean,
to
don't you
even
think
picture
if
him.
there was a team like outside of the Raiders would do it for
Mm-hmm.
sure, and I think they could. But couldn't you see Jerry Jones calling him up and saying, "Yo, Dion,
Yeah.
I've got all the money in the world, whatever contract you want. I'm gonna get rid of Dak. Shedeur's playing from day one. I got CeeDee Lamb on the outside. Don't need Travis Hunter. We got CeeDee Lamb. Micah Parsons ready to come back and actually play. We could turn this thing around. All I need is prime time." So I can see it happening. Would not be it'd be fun from a content
You can't
perspective.
afford
But
to let Travis Hunter go somewhere else now. I
they,
don't know
they wouldn't be able to
about
get
that.
him. They'd have to. I mean, Travis Hunter's going
They
top
have to
3.
trade up like that, like 5 picks to like go get him. I mean,
Yeah, see,
shoot.
I don't think you can't do both.
I
There's no
know
way you
that's
could do both, but
unfortunate.
because Travis Hunter's off the board before pick 5, Shedeur's gone before pick 10. I personally don't think Shedeur is the best quarterback in this draft class. I don't know who that is just yet, but I don't think it's Shedeur from an NFL pro style. I actually really like Jackson Dart. Not to get into off topic here, but I like Jackson Dart a lot. But anyway, yeah, I think there's always a storyline surrounding Deion Sanders, and I think it's gonna be a fun matchup. I don't really know my thoughts on him as a head coach. I think college head coaches are evaluated very differently than NFL head coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I think NFL head coaches, it's definitely playoff success and
Yeah.
quarterback development. I think in college football, it's all about scheming. Like you could go 6-6 every year, but if you can develop your talent around you and be a good scheme coach, I think you can have a lot of longevity. And
And
we know
recruiting.
Deion's super exciting. I think the hard part for him is been the recruiting. He's only had 2 years to recruit to Colorado, so he hasn't really had a lot of time. He brought his best 5 players with him. So if he does stay after Shedeur's gone this year, maybe he continues to get some big time recruits out there. But yeah, I just think anytime you talk Deion, it's exciting. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this game Saturday. I think the back and forth between Leipold and Deion's been great this week. Just both very respectful of each other. Hey, we both reached out to each other playing throughout the season. Looking forward to it. Really respect what he does. Really respect what he does. But I can't take Deion seriously as a coach. There's just too much off the field distractions with the brands that they want to promote and push on all of them, and seeing Shedeur, run on the sideline with his $10 billion watch that I hope breaks in a game. There's just so many distractions with Colorado. I think Colorado is a program that if like HBO Hard Knocks was for college football, this would be one of the teams you'd want on there. And to me, they just look like a team that's like out of a TV show, that there's all this hype and excitement, because rightfully so, they've got great players. But when it comes to the X's and O's on the field, I just don't know if I trust Colorado enough to get the job done. I think they can put up points, but I mean, looking at their schedule this year, they lost to K-State. They destroyed Arizona, but Arizona, we found out, has been a fraud this year. They didn't have to face Cam Rising with Utah. They barely beat North Dakota State to start the year, and they got spanked by Nebraska. So I still don't know if Colorado at 9-2 is a better team than Kansas at 4-6.
When we should be 9-2 ourselves.
Or, I'm sorry, 8. Colorado's 8-2. Yeah,
8-2.
That's why I feel really good about this game. I think KU's got the edge in a lot of areas. Again, Colorado's defense isn't very good. They're going to give up just as many points as they score. So to me, it's like the first team to 30 probably wins. But KU, I think, is better suited that if this is a slow, grinded out defensive game, I think KU's better suited to win this like 24-19 than Colorado is, because I just don't think Colorado can prevent teams from scoring.
Agreed.
That's all my thoughts. You guys got anything else on this?
Let's get this win in Arrowhead. The only other thing I was gonna say, should we not paint the Jayhawk onto the turf or anything? Like, look, we
Keep the Chiefs
lost.
stuff on there.
Keep
good
the
luck.
Chiefs on there because it was on.
It was kind of cool.
The Chiefs ground for the Iowa State game, and we won. So like, if anyone is a little bit superstitious.
Question is, what jerseys are they wearing Saturday?
I got
They're gonna wear the Reds.
The Reds?
I got two options. Option 1, white helmet, blue jersey, blue pants. Option 2, blue helmet, red face mask, blue jersey, red pants.
I like that.
Just a thought.
I do love the blue helmets though. The blue helmets, white face mask.
They are pretty cool.
That's clean.
Let's see.
That'll be interesting. They should have saved the. I didn't like the BYU uniforms last week. I thought that was weird combo.
I kind of liked it.
I don't know.
No, I liked it.
KU's been dabbling too much in all their colors, but yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. Oh, I guess the final thing we got to talk about then, which would be more reflective of this season? KU goes out and wins, beats Colorado this weekend, just to lose at Baylor the following week and miss bowl eligibility, or KU loses a close game this week, then goes out and just destroys Baylor next week and still misses bowl eligibility. Which would summarize this season more?
I just want, which one do I want more?
Or KU goes and wins out both.
I would prefer to win out both, but if I could choose one of them to win, it's Colorado, 100%.
Yeah.
I think if you isolate the game, you want to win this game over the other for sure. But okay, so which scenario do you think is most likely down the stretch? KU goes 2-0, 1-1, 0-2.
Yeah, I think the most likely is we lose. I think the most likely is we lose Colorado but beat Baylor.
I have to agree on that. Now, I do want to see KU win out 100%, but I mean, it seems more likely that we would lose to Colorado. Now, I don't know if y'all forgot, but if KU wins out, this beard's going bye-bye.
Oh, see, okay.
I told y'all I made a bet with myself. I said if KU somehow figured out a way to win out and make a bowl game, I would shave my face. So, I'm happy to do it, but like if they want me to shave my face, they got to go out there and beat these two teams.
I, for one, am not shaving this. Let's just say that.
No, I couldn't shave that. Now, see, I've got just a little bit of a stubble beard, so it's easy for me to trim.
So does it really count? Like, is it really like that important?
I mean, I look better with a beard.
Everybody always looks better with a beard.
When I've clean shaved, I look like the Pillsbury Doughboy. I'm not kidding.
Well, you're still in college. You look younger if you're clean shaven. But the beard does make you look older.
Yeah,
right? I mean, Spencer has taken several months to grow.
My face will be chubby, and it'll just be.
I would be crazy to see him shave it off.
Dude, I never want to see Spencer shave ever again. Gosh, it would just be a travesty to this.
I don't know what Spencer looks like with the shave, but
you haven't been on an episode with him without the beard yet, have you? Because he's the only one you've been. You'd have to go back.
He's got
a full beard now.
Look at his Facebook. Look at anything.
Which is funny because again, shout out Spencer when you watch this episode later.
Love you, Spencer.
He was babyface for so long, could not grow facial hair, and then over the last year, he's just finally did it. And then I think when I was at 3 or 4 weeks ago when we hopped on a podcast, I hadn't seen him in a while because he's in his football hibernation for basketball season. I was like, holy cow, Spencer, you got a beard. And
this is what I would look like without a beard.
Dude, you can't shave it off.
That's what I'm going to look like possibly in 2 weeks, but they've got to go out there and beat.
You said you made this bet with yourself?
I tweeted it out. I said, hey, if this happens, I will clean shave my face. And now that they've beaten BYU, I'm like, am I going to really have to?
I'll say this, Austin.
It's not because I've been doubting them. It's like, I'll just for the fun of it, just to celebrate the fact that we.
So it's more of you don't want to shave the face, but you're willing to do it if KU can prove themselves worthy of a bowl game.
You should just do it anyway.
Yes.
But no, look, Austin, if it's any consolation, I think the likelihood of that happening, or at least I don't know, it's a little slim. I would rank it as we win one of the two as like the most likely outcome. Second most likely outcome, I think, is we lose both. We haven't said that yet, but I think second most likely outcome is we lose
Baylor
both.
is
Two top 25 wins and going 4-8. Jeez, man.
I know. I think
that's why to me the rest I don't even care what happens the next 2 weeks because the season's over for me anyway.
I just want to win out. I don't care if we get to a bowl game and lose the bowl game. I want to get to a bowl game.
If you take a step out of the season, yes, KU getting to a bowl game for the third straight year would be tremendous for the program, and definitely still help carry momentum. But you isolate this season alone, it's still a disappointment. But I'd be all for it.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to ask you, Austin, you tweeted about this the other day. If KU wins out, goes bowling this year, what is your mind at with Jalon coming back or leaving? I don't think he's going to the draft. I don't think he's high enough on those boards anymore.
One of two, if I had to take a guess, and I know nothing about this whole debacle or whatever. I mean, like we haven't even gotten to this point where he has to like make a decision. But I would assume 2 weeks out from the postseason, whether we make a bowl game or not, he's got two choices. He's either going to come back or he's going to transfer. Where's he going to transfer to? I don't know. But if you really think about it, and I'm not saying he's going to transfer, by the way, or come back. These are just my two guesses. So I just want to make that clear. I mean, like you just think about the team and the amount of seniors that we have on this year's team and how he's friends with all of them and how he went through the program with all of those guys. And the team's going to look completely different next year with or without Jalon. So, I mean, if he wants to go somewhere else, and if that ends up being his decision, then, I mean, is it going to suck? I mean, he's been here for, 5 years now? It seems it seems like he's been here for less than 5 years, but he was here during COVID, and he was 17 when he came in here and started it, which is actually unbelievable. But, I mean, like, look, I will support Jalon in whatever decision he decides to make because I really can't blame him if he decides to do one or the other. Now, if he does come back, then that's great. I mean, we've got a guy at quarterback that knows what the heck is going on and knows how to lead these young guys that are going to be stepping up because there's going to be a lot of young guys stepping up in key positions next season. So, but either way, I will support the heck out of Jalon and whatever he decides to do and always love him.
I have a lot of mixed feelings on this. Like, if you look at our quarterback room next year, Jalon would clearly be the best quarterback on the team next year. We have
David McComb coming in, I believe.
McComb. You got McComb coming in as a freshman. He's gonna be good.
Yeah.
It's not likely as a freshman he's gonna jump off. It's just hard to do that in college football. Isaiah Marshall after a year here, Cole Ballard will still be here. So I think Jalon would still give you the best chance to win right away outside of maybe another transfer quarterback. My thought though is with the roster turnover as big as it's going to be with the 30 seniors and guys that will inevitably go into the portal, part of me says, would that be a good time for Kansas to transition? And hey, we're losing a big chunk of our team. Jalon, hey, we appreciate everything you've done for us, but we want to, restructure our team moving forward. And the best way for us to do that is a different direction. A quarterback, he leaves and goes somewhere else. I'm curious about that process. I don't know if that's what would happen. I guess when I think about, whose camp is going to have most say in what happens with the offseason, is it going to be, Jalon's camp is dictating how the offseason goes? Is it KU going to say, hey, if you come back, great, here's the stipulations of coming back? Because I do think part of it's going to be you got to be here during part of the offseason. We saw why at the early part of the season, him spending all of his time in LA, albeit still recovering from injury. I get it. But supposedly he's been healthy for quite a while and spending a lot of time away. So I think this year there's going to be some more structure. But you think about all the guys Jalon's really close with on this team, they're all gone. So it's not like any of the young guys on this offense he has any rapport with and practices with outside of, Highshaw would be back and possibly Sevion Morrison. So I think it could be from a timing standpoint, a good, like of all the years he could transfer at his points in his career at Kansas, this offseason would make the most sense. But like you were saying, Austin, where does he go that puts him in a better position for the NFL? If it's a NFL, and he's not, I don't think he's going to pro this year. But where else is he going to go as a 6-year senior that has the offense completely set up? Maybe Penn State. I have seen some of that.
God, imagine.
But yeah, it still seems like the best situation for all parties is a Jalon return for a final year, and see what he can do with a new group, because he's going to have all new wide receivers, basically all new tight ends, almost a whole new offensive line. Yeah, Bryce Foster's probably gone, but Cable Dew will be gone. Michael Ford will be gone. You've got a couple guys in that line that'll be back. So it seems like it could be that. Still obviously wish Jalon the best, and it sucks that the season's been as poorly as it was, because coming into the season he was one of the 5 to 10 best quarterbacks in college football, and he's played a lot better the last few weeks. He's played like a top 10 quarterback the last few up until last week. But anyway, didn't intend to get in that conversation on this, but we did. But we'll wrap up there. Colorado this weekend, then Baylor next week. We'll probably talk sometime next week before Thanksgiving about how that game went, and then the final thoughts on the final game of the year. Obviously, if KU loses, then we don't have to talk about anything bowl wise. So maybe we don't talk Baylor, other than what do we want to see in that final game. If KU loses this weekend, I think you do see some guys play against Baylor that we that probably haven't got any run time. So maybe you do see Cole Ballard play the final game, or maybe they play Cole for a first half and Zeke Marshall for another half, or something like that, just to see what you have. Because at that point, you're not going bowling, so you might as well. But we'll wrap up there. I guess I didn't ask you any score predictions.
Oh God, no, I don't. I just want KU to win.
I mean, I picked KU to win. Now, I think Colorado is also going to win at the same time. But since I've been confident in the Jayhawks the past, 2 weeks or so coming off of the bye, which you guys have probably seen. I mean, I was pretty confident about Iowa State a week in advance. I was pretty confident about BYU. And, now this game is where I'm like, oh, you might lose, but I hope not. But if KU were to win, I could foresee a score like 42-38 KU.
High scoring.
But I don't know if that'll happen. But that would be my score prediction.
I'm going to go 38-34 Kansas.
35-28.
35-28 touchdown. So it's safe to say that if we're all taking that, then we should all be betting KU to cover the plus 2.5 this weekend. Yep. So I don't have a betting episode this week for it necessarily, but KU plus 2.5. I do like that, and I think I also am going to play KU money line. And of course, you always got to play a Devin Neal touchdown, and then parlay a Devin Neal, Daniel Highshaw, Luke Grimm touchdown. Always got to play those 3 every single week. Highshaw's due. He needs to get back in the end zone. He's had a rough 4-game stretch. Another guy that's got a lot of talent, but injury prone. Anyway, we'll wrap up there. We appreciate you guys trekking along with us for all of this one. You can hit us up Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at KCSA Pod below. As you can see, if you're over here on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Over 1,000 subscribers, continue to grow. Again, couldn't be more grateful for every one of our subscribers so far. And we do have another giveaway coming up sometime down the road here. That Devin Neal autograph jersey, still have that to give away. So stay tuned for that. If you're listening on Spotify, again, you can like the podcast over there. You can follow the podcast, give us a 5-star review. And most importantly, when you see one of these episodes, share it with a friend, share it with a buddy, and give us your thoughts over on Twitter. I'd love to get some more fan interaction week in and week out. But for Austin and JB, I'm Keegan Russell. This has been another episode of the KC Sports Authority podcast. Let's get the dub this weekend. And as always, rock chalk.
Rock chalk.
Rock chalk.